Parshas Bishalach Daf Kuf Chav Ches Ois Beis. The Medrash says, "Vayivarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi." Hashem blessed the day of Shabbos with what? B'mai Baruch Hu b'man. So the Nesivas Shalom has two questions. Question number one: Man only happened for 40 years. The blessing Vayivarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi is forever, eternal. So how does it make sense to say that the blessing of Shabbos, which is for eternity, for our days also, has a bracha of man? What does it have to do with man? Man was only for the time we were in the midbar. And the second question that he asks is that the bracha of Shabbos was the blessing of man. Shabbos didn't get man. The whole blessing of Shabbos, of the man, was that it didn't fall. What happened? 2 portions fell on Friday. No portions of the man fell on Shabbos. So what does it mean that Shabbos is blessed with man? A, that was only for 40 years, l'chayra. And B, what do you mean Shabbos was blessed with man? Man didn't fall on Shabbos. What kind of blessing is that? The blessing that it didn't fall? So he explains beautiful, al derech, according to the way that we understand something else. In Priya Aretz from Mirabendel of Vitebska, it says a beautiful pshat. The grumblers that were in Klal Yisrael, his avu taiva, they had a taiva. What does it mean, his avu taiva? It should say, it means they had a want for taiva. V'hamon shuhu k'moy d'chsiv lechem abirim ochal ish. B'chol oichel yesh kayach hamachnes b'dam ha'odam taivas. V'hamon is lechem abirim. Hain is lechem shama lechem le'oiru taivas v'nilkach mehem kayach ha'taiva. Everything that we eat goes into the dam of the nefesh, and therefore it is ma'ir taiva. Whatever that means, above our pay grade to understand, but food is an injection of taiva. Probably that's why we see tzaddikim, they eat very, very little. You look at what Rav Steinman Zatzal ate, I'm sure it couldn't be ma'ir any taiva. We lost our appetite just looking at it. But they weren't into food. People say, what's wrong with being into food? In a way, for us, it's fine. You know, there are much worse problems. But the facts that we can't change are the facts of the Bria, that the more that we ingest of super delicious food, that is the entryway. It's hard to believe, but that is the entryway of taiva. The proof is that the man was called lechem abirim, it was holy food, and therefore it didn't awaken any taiva inside of us. So even though we were sustained through eating the man, so that sustained our guf, it didn't give any taiva because it was holy food. Holy food does not produce taiva in a person. That's what he's saying based on the Medrash. This is the way the world was created. This is what we believe. He's giving us a little insight. It's hard when you don't grow up like this. We don't know really what makes things work. He's telling you that the energy that you have to sin, to have taiva, comes from somewhere. We thought it just comes down. It comes from being fueled by food. And the raya is that when they ate heavenly food, they did not have materialistic taiva. The Zeh Pirish, this is what it says in Priya Aretz. And Naz Pshat, his avu taiva. Shehem his avu l'taivas. They had a taiva for a taiva. They didn't actually have taiva, but they felt we miss having a taiva. We wish that we had a taiva. Whether it was l'shem shemayim or not is a different story. But it's a beautiful vart. It explains the word. His avsuf asher b'kir boy, his avu taiva. They had a taiva to have a taiva. Because they didn't have the taiva that comes from achila, they didn't have any taivas. And they wanted to have, they missed having a taiva. They were his avu taiva. L'chem bikshu. That's why they asked, mi'echilenu basar. Fine, we have man, but we want basar. Why? L'oyer behem ha-taivas makes a lot of sense. They asked for basar. Well, what did Afghan need meat for? The teretz is they were being sustained fine through the man. But the man was holy food, and they weren't feeling any taiva. They wanted taiva, again, different discussion. Why? It says that it was because they wanted schar for being kaivish to taiva. They didn't want a freebie. Just like Hashem didn't put us down here for freebies, and He gave us a lot of nisyanis for our benefit. They wanted the same thing. They wanted taiva for our benefit, and why it was wrong and why it was right, that's a different discussion. They wanted taiva, so they asked for basar. Enough of this heavenly stuff. Give us good old-fashioned steak, and then we will again have taiva inside of us. Now that we understand this, says the Nesivas Shalom, we can understand the medrash of Vayvarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi Baruch Hu b'man. This is the bracha that Hashem gave Shabbos. Habracha shel hamon she'enoi mo'ireres taivos. That's the bracha. Vayvarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi b'may Baruch Hu b'man, with the same concept of man. Just like when we ate man, it didn't create taiva inside of us. So too, the achila of Shabbos that we eat, the food that we eat on Shabbos, people say you don't gain weight. And I'm not sure about that. But it doesn't cause your system to create taiva. Al derech zeh, now we can understand, Kodesh Ilochem Shabbos HaMalka. Kodesh Ilochem Heilige Shabbos HaMalka. Holy it is for you, Shabbos, the Queen. So he says, Kodeshi Lochem. Even the things that are Nyani Lochem, Machole Shabbos, the things that you do for yourself, Kodeshi, on Shabbos HaMalka. They have Kedusha Elois, She'enim Oiririm Taivas. V'zeh ma she'omrim, Askinu Sudasa de Malka, Hainu She'asuda Shel Shabbos Hi Kodesh Kadashim, Sudasa de Malka, it is a fixing of a meal fit for a king. It is the meals that we're eating is for the king. We're eating a king's meal, the king of Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So even though we're doing the same thing as we're doing during the week, we're eating food, and it's supposed to cause that, but it's holy food. Holy food like the man, the my Baruch Hu b'man, with the same idea, that it's not ma'oyer taivus, v'zeh amnam bracha gedola ma'oid. V'zeh bracha nitzchis. It is a truly great bracha. The food we're going to eat on Shabbos, and we eat usually a lot of it, is not ma'oyer taiva, and it's also a bracha nitzchis. Now it makes sense. It wasn't just saying of those 40 years. Oid merumas be'inyan baruch hu b'man, there's a different inyan, and I want to say how proud I am. I used to learn Nesivas Shalom with my children every Shabbos when they were little. And I asked this kasha of the Medrash at the Shabbos table. Nesivas Shalom's kasha was, the Medrash says, Vayvarach Elokim es Yom HaShvi b'may Baruch Hu b'man. But man is not eternal. Man is not now. What does Shabbos have to do with man? And right away, my little princess Mindy raised her hand. I don't remember how old she was. I think it was 9 or 10. Certainly under Bas Mitzvah. Right away her hand went up. Yes. And she said the following. She said, just like man, the person was able to imagine whatever they wanted it to be, and that became their reality. The rich person imagined steak. The poor person imagined steak. And all of a sudden his reality was steak. So too Shabbos. Whether you're a big tzaddik that you can experience Shabbos on a high level, or you're a low person during the week, you're struggling, but on Shabbos you can imagine that you're on the highest level and that becomes your reality. How beautiful. And then years later I found it actually in the Nesivas Shalom. Nesivas Shalom says the same thing. Baruch Shekivanta, Baruch Hashem, that Mindy was mechavan to the Nesivas Shalom. Every person experienced the flavor, the taste of the man, according to his kavanah. Person who knew what $500 steak was, he knew what to think of. That's what became his reality. Somebody who only knew PB&J, so they were eating peanut butter and jelly or pizza. That's what it means that Shabbos has a bracha of man. That blessing that man had to be able to become whatever you thought, and that became your experience. That also happens on Shabbos Kodesh. The Misha Mechaven b'Shabbos Kodesh. Sheyeh lo yoyim menucha, ma'aseh yoyim menucha. Person who looks at Shabbos, it's a day that I sleep a bagel. It's a day of rest, a day I don't have to go to work, a day I could chill, I could eat to my heart's content, and it's a very low level of spirituality. He experiences Yom Menucha. But somebody who realizes this is my day, that Hashem says you don't have to work today, you don't have to have Bilbul Adas, you don't have to be on your computer and your phone. This is the day that you can be the best Jew that you can be. You can learn extra. You can sing to me. You can bond with me. on the highest level, then that's what it becomes. And someone who's der Hoibin, and he imagines the highest levels, that's what he's Zoicha in that way. You can imagine what you want. You can't do that on Monday. Monday is going to be Monday. You learn, you eat, you go to work, you go to work. You can't have a different experience. Shabbos could be like a camouflage. Shabbos is up to you to do with it as you wish. It could be a day of rest. You don't have to go to work. You go to shul, you daven, you relax, you come home, you have a delicious fat meal, you fall asleep at the Suda. It's a beautiful thing. You never have that the rest of the week. Nobody's on their phones. You can bond, maybe play a game. You could sleep. Like somebody said, Nebuch, Rabbi Alovsky says, someone told him, Shabbos is awesome. It's like you're dead. You could sleep till your drool is on the pillow until you could sleep. That's why Hashem gave Shabbos. But to some people, that's their experience. A day off. A day off, a day without technology. You can tap maybe into yourself a little bit and get a little bit calm. And okay, that's the lowest level. But you could also do so much more with Shabbos and use it as it was meant to be given. Beautiful pshat that he says about Shabbos. He brings it down also in Chelik Beis on Shabbos. Shabbos is blessed mikol hayomim. B'kidashtein, it's more holy mikol hazmanim. There's yomim and there's manim. It's so interesting. Sometimes we see a chazal and we don't think, we think it's just flowery words. But no, it says yomim and it says manim on purpose. During the course of our year, we have days that are called yomim. Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaKippurim. He doesn't talk about Yom HaShoah. He doesn't talk about that, Yom HaZikaron. But he talks about Yom HaZikaron, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom HaKippurim. And there's Chagim, they're called Chagim Zmanim L'Sasoin. Zman Cheruseinu. Zman Matan Tereseinu. Zman Simchaseinu. Isn't that interesting? Shabbos, you find all the brachas of the Yomim, of Yom HaZikaron and Yom Teruah Yelechem, that's also Rosh Hashanah. And Shabbos, you find the brachas of all the zmanim. You can tap into everything, all of the benefits of every yontif. You can tap in on Shabbos according to your kavana and your will. Shabbos is the root, the essence of all blessing. Bracha bilti mugbelas, unlimited brachas. V'nachla b'li mitzarim. A nachla, an inheritance without any meitzar, without any boundaries. It all depends on your kavana of what you want to get out of Shabbos Kodesh. Shabbos is blessed more than the Yomim Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. It's more holy than all the Zmanim.